You know, Matt Taibbi wrote a book called Hate Inc. I don't know if you ever read it. He basically makes the argument that Rachel Maddow is essentially Bill O'Reilly, that they're the same person.
The U.S. government is going to have to either unwind from all of those contracts, or Elon Musk's companies are going to have to unwind from him. This is an untenable reality in national security terms, now that we know what we know about Elon Musk.
And what is that? What do we know?
That he endorsed President Trump.
That he's a genius?
They're very good at making enemies, and then when the enemies they've made treat them poorly, they are shocked.
What happens when one of cable news's biggest stars takes aim at a billionaire entrepreneur known for shaking up entire industries? The result is a media storm that quickly grows far bigger than anyone expected. Rachel Maddow, one of MSNBC's most recognizable faces, made a bold move when she went after Elon Musk. But what she didn't see coming was the response that followed. Soon, two influential and highly unpredictable media voices entered the fight, turning a heated dispute into a clash that captured attention across the media world and left many wondering what would happen next.
Fallout from Joy Reid's firing at MSNBC continues. She signed off from the show for the last time last night. I mean, you know, we are going to miss her in our own special way. And her now former colleague, Rachel Maddow, never one to not be the center of attention if she can find a way of injecting herself into a story, decided to deliver a monologue aimed directly at her bosses. And this is the theme of what we saw.
It all started with a bold statement on live television. During her broadcast, Rachel Maddow turned her focus directly to Elon Musk. This wasn't just criticism of his tweets or political views. She questioned whether the U.S. government should continue relying so heavily on his companies. Maddow argued that NASA and the Department of Defense needed other options, raising concerns about SpaceX's massive government contracts. The comments quickly sparked debate. At first, it seemed like another high-profile media clash, but that moment set off a chain of events that would soon draw far more attention than anyone expected.
Maddow calling for Elon Musk contracts to be taken away. It's the most bananas thing ever.
The Defense Department and NASA are going to need a new arrangement for all their rockets and for all the multi-billion-dollar contracts Elon Musk's companies have with the U.S. government.
Literally one of the greatest geniuses in human history. A guy who's simultaneously landing rockets, not just shooting them, but landing them, and having them getting caught by robots in the sky. Then you have Tesla, then you have Starlink, then you have the Boring Company. I mean, the guy's simultaneously running all these different things.
I bet Rachel.
The first major response came from the world of podcasts, where Joe Rogan weighed in on the controversy. Known for his direct style and willingness to challenge popular narratives, Rogan openly dismissed Maddow's arguments. He framed the debate as a stark contrast between two very different figures. On one side was a prominent television host. On the other was Elon Musk, the entrepreneur behind reusable rockets, electric vehicles, and global satellite internet. To Rogan, the comparison seemed difficult to ignore, and he made his views clear in a way that quickly grabbed attention.
Worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
And I do not defend it. It feels indefensible, and I do not defend it. Okay. She really is one of the most, maybe, is she the most annoying people on television? She oozes sanctimony and self-righteousness. And here's the real capper. She took her boss's faces and rubbed them in shit last night. That's what she did.
For whatever reason, hardcore lesbians, when they want to be taken seriously, they dress like a man. And they dress like a man in a business outfit.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Look how she dresses. She puts a suit jacket on. I'm serious. I'm here for the meeting. I'm here to explain things to you people.
Rachel Maddow gets paid $100,000 a day. Like, to me, I don't know. That's a lot of money.
Good for her.
That's a good.
You can buy a lot of man suits.
Rogan's response was direct and unapologetic. He took aim at what he saw as Maddow's polished television persona and questioned the credibility of her argument. In his view, it made little sense for a highly paid political commentator to be calling for action against a businessman whose companies were involved in rockets, electric vehicles, and satellite technology. Rogan's criticism wasn't presented as a detailed policy debate. Instead, it was framed as a common-sense reaction designed to resonate with his massive audience. And while Rogan was making his case in his own unmistakable style, another critic was preparing a very different line of attack.
Rachel Maddow trying to say, what pains us the most is not what happens to us, is a lie too. The reason she won't give the $4 million or the $2 million to save any of those jobs, and she doesn't have to cut him a check. She could actually just take it out of her current salary. You know why she won't? Because she's got bills to pay, and her lifestyle is too important to her. Rachel Maddow currently, according to my calculation, and I'm sure it's much more, has a $10 million penthouse, I say, on the Upper East Side, where her neighbors are Jodie Foster and Barry Manilow at some point.
That critic was Megyn Kelly, the former primetime news anchor known for her sharp interviewing style and legal background. While Rogan focused on what he viewed as the flaws in Maddow's argument, Kelly took a different approach. She questioned Maddow's credibility and examined her past reporting record. Speaking in a measured and methodical way, Kelly pointed to Maddow's coverage of the Russia investigation and argued that some major claims promoted during that period did not ultimately live up to expectations. She also referenced the Steele dossier, a controversial document that became a major part of the political debate, using it as an example in her broader criticism of mainstream media coverage.
About what did Rachel Maddow ever apologize for telling everybody that if you get the COVID vaccine, you're never going to get COVID? The virus stops with you.
No, never.
Never.
Yeah.
No one ever. It was not true at the time. There was no evidence to support it at the time. It's pure propaganda. And she said it. The Russiagate hoax. For 3 fucking years, they said that he was Putin's toy.
Yes.
And that Putin had him compromised. The Steele dossier.
Steele dossier was completely fabricated by a lawyer at Perkins Coie, who was paid by the Clinton campaign.
Kelly's sharpest criticism focused on Maddow's past comments about COVID vaccines and the broader media coverage surrounding the pandemic. She argued that some claims presented with confidence during that period later became the subject of significant debate and scrutiny. Kelly used those examples to question Maddow's reliability as a journalist, claiming that some reporting was driven more by narrative than by a balanced presentation of facts. According to Kelly, the issue wasn't just about getting a story wrong. It was about the line between informing the public and shaping a particular viewpoint. Her critique resonated with audiences who were already skeptical of mainstream media coverage.
You see Caitlyn Jenner teasing Mark Cuban about transitioning?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I mean, Caitlyn Jenner's based.
Yeah, but that is actually hilarious when someone who has transitioned is teasing Mark Cuban about transitioning.
I mean, it is weird how much he looks like Rachel Maddow. I mean, like he's using the same glasses. Did he,
I don't know why
did he
he
go
put those
klepto and
glasses
steal her glasses or something? Because they look exactly the same.
He's worth a lot of money. Why would he buy those stupid glasses? You can get some cool ass
unflattering.
glasses. Yeah. Well, it's like I'm serious because I don't even care what I look like. I'm just wearing these glasses because I'm intelligent.
But why do they look exactly like Rachel Maddow's glasses?
Yeah, it's like what they probably sent him. He doesn't stick to the narrative. Here's the glasses.
Yeah.
On their own, Rogan's and Kelly's criticisms carried weight. Together, they created a challenge that was difficult to ignore. Rogan appealed to a broad audience, arguing that Maddow's claims didn't hold up under common-sense scrutiny. Kelly took a more methodical approach, focusing on what she saw as weaknesses in her reporting record. Their styles were completely different, but they arrived at a similar conclusion. One questioned the strength of the argument itself, while the other questioned the credibility behind it, creating a powerful 1-2 punch that drew attention from audiences across the media landscape.
You also learn a lot if you watch MSNBC. I don't know if you're aware, but their reaction, you're not gonna be able to believe this, to the Friday Oval Office situation was to claim that Trump is weirdly and problematically tied to Russia. I'll give you just a little taste of Rachel Maddow's monologue on it last night.
Imagine if a foreign adversary, imagine if the Putin government somehow could just do a thought experiment. Imagine they could somehow exert control or influence over the government of the United States. What do you think the Putin government would have the U.S. government do if he could control it? What kind of headlines would you expect to see about the operations of our government under that kind of a scenario? And what would you expect the news out of the Oval Office and the White House to look like on a day like today?
Fake drama.
Maddow found herself facing criticism from 2 influential voices she couldn't easily dismiss. Rogan challenged the substance of her arguments, while Kelly questioned her credibility and reporting record. As clips of their comments spread online, the debate quickly gained momentum across social media. Yet Maddow offered no public response. Whether viewed as a strategic decision or a missed opportunity, that silence became part of the story itself, leaving critics and supporters alike to draw their own conclusions.
Here's Rachel Maddow with her typical sanctimonious, I'm sorry to have to bring you this, but here's the latest of these terrible people. This is what happened with these disgusting opponents. Watch. Here she is.
This is him today twice throwing something that looks like what is politely called the Roman salute. And maybe this is not what he meant when he did it. Who among us knows what is in the hearts of men? But the Roman salute is a thing. And that is what it looks like Elon Musk was doing, which added a nice blood-curdling chill to the day for many people today. Go ahead. He does it twice. And again, maybe that's not what he meant. Maybe he doesn't know what that is. That happened today.
That happened today. Who among us knows what's in the hearts of men? Well, who among us does know, Rachel?
But the controversy went beyond the criticism itself. For many observers, it raised broader questions about authenticity and public image. Critics pointed to Maddow's reported wealth and high-profile lifestyle, arguing that it seemed at odds with the populist message she often promoted on television. Particular attention was given to reports about her luxury real estate and substantial earnings. To her critics, this created a disconnect between her public persona and private life. Whether fair or not, the discussion shifted from her comments and reporting to a larger debate about credibility, privilege, and how media figures relate to the audiences they claim to represent.
Can I tell you, that was a disgusting display by both women on the set. I would vote for Ron DeSantis over Joe Biden any day of the week. I've made that clear, okay? I tell you what my bias is. When I sat across from Ron DeSantis, I pressed him. I pressed him on the weaknesses in his arguments, things that he said that were inconsistent, positions he had that would fall apart potentially if you really, drilled down. And he stood his own. That's what a journalist does. That's what your obligation is as a member of the media. You failed, Rachel Maddow. You failed. I don't care how much they give you, $30 million a year. You're not worth 30 cents. That was an embarrassment. You fell down on the job, you embarrassed yourself and your network, and you ceded the entire discussion to a dishonest broker who set us down this disgusting path that we're now on, where everybody denies everybody's the real president. Shame on you both.
In the end, this story is about more than criticism aimed at a cable news host. It highlights the changing media landscape and the growing influence of alternative voices. For years, major television networks played a dominant role in shaping public conversations. Today, podcasts, independent creators, and digital platforms have become powerful forces in their own right. Audiences now have more choices than ever when it comes to where they get information, creating a media environment where traditional outlets and new voices constantly compete for attention, trust, and influence.
Russia.
Would have been nice to win the election. Didn't. Okay. Time to save the country.
She is stomach turning, isn't she? It could be, you're in danger. What are you going to do with your 10 houses and your tens of millions? My God, you better start preparing. You should start getting the medication kits and the food right now. Store away. Trump is coming for you, Rachel. Jeez, could be fun. Could be fun. Oh, yeah. Who would ever know what it's like for MSNBC to be in the opposition? Oh, wait. Russia. We know your trick, Madam Pirate, when you're in the opposition, your nobility in your efforts to save the country. You fucking lie. That's what you do. You lie every day. And then you play the victim. What a ridiculous person.
For many people, this controversy served as a reminder that no public figure is beyond criticism in the digital age. The combined response from Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly brought attention to questions about media credibility, accountability, and public trust. Their critiques came from different angles, but together they fueled a much larger conversation. More than anything, the debate reflected a growing belief that influence alone is no longer enough. In today's media environment, audiences increasingly expect transparency, scrutiny, and a willingness to answer tough questions, no matter how powerful the voice behind the message may be.
And no one, even someone calling herself a journalist, will even bother to challenge you on it. And instead, they'll joke about how they're going to go shop for a new wardrobe, which, by the way, Rachel Maddow does desperately need.
In the end, this story was about more than one media feud. It reflected a changing media landscape where powerful voices are challenged from every direction. The debate sparked larger questions about credibility, accountability, and public trust. One thing is clear: In today's digital age, no one is beyond scrutiny, and audiences have more power than ever to decide who they believe.